office.
Yep, I had a family thing I had to deal with,
Yeah,
so I left.
Yeah, they told me you left that, so that's fine. I think they like updated you on the little mix-up that happened yesterday morning.
Yep, they did
Um,
actually. Cal was the one that brought it to my attention so that we were aware of it, and we talked through it.
Yeah, Cal took it very seriously.
Yep,
so.
he did. He absolutely did.
He was. I know he was not happy because but so that's why I like brought it to them because the thing that Chris had told me, he said that the team leads are aware that me and Jason shouldn't be working together, so there shouldn't be any mix-ups. And I asked if they knew that before or after the incident, and he said before. So I was thinking like, I don't know who it was that did that exchange because, water spiders can't make moves unless a supervisor or team lead has to.
That would be
change
Cal.
people.
So Cal would be the one responsible for giving direction to his team leads and his water spiders.
Yeah. So I did know that that I know Alex, Erica, Haley, Nell were there, but Cal wasn't at the time that the switch was made. And then when the switch was made, I was working with him for about an hour, and until Cal came back, and then he looked at me, and then he like immediately told the team leads, like they had like their meeting, and he ended up having to move and stuff. So, and the camera that Chris was going through,
he
for
went
that
through
one
two
day,
of them.
yeah. He said he didn't see anything, but there definitely is persistent glaring, and he even noted that based from where I was standing, that I can't see through my supervisor's desk.
It would be challenging to see around all of the materials that are sitting in between the location that you were working and the location that Jason was working, yes.
Yeah, but working as a sealer, I can see, we saw each other. So it's actually, it's a great shot, like right there. It's not like I'm like ducking behind a monitor to see or anything like that. We definitely made eye contact.
Well, I would expect that you would. You guys are coworkers. You work in the same area, so.
Well, it's not like a eye contact. Like, oh, I see you, I notice you, and your appearance is acknowledged to me. It was definitely glaring for an extended period of time.
So, what do you define as an extended period of time?
Chris said the same thing.
It's a good question because everybody's perception is different.
Yeah, he asked like how long it was. I can tell you it was probably like more than 5 seconds. I don't count in my head when I stare at people.
So just so you know, it's going to be very difficult to sit and watch the cameras and see the individual glaring at somebody else for 5 seconds when they're constantly moving. So but count through it.
No, yeah, he wasn't constantly moving because he was standing still. He was just standing.
Were times, he was standing, but he was moving frequently, and you were moving as well.
Yeah, but you can see that I even react to him staring at me because I look around, and I like look around, and then I look back, and he's still staring at me, and I even gesture like, "Are you looking at me?" And I like look around, and he's still staring at me. So. That's not someone who's like constantly moving around, or that's like, oh, you work in the same place, so you guys are bound to see each other. That's persistent glaring, and I need you guys to understand that did happen, and I don't want to feel like I'm kind of crazy because it's there.
We're not here to tell you that you're crazy.
Okay. I just because you guys make it seem like, oh, we went through it and we didn't see it, but I'm telling you, it's definitely there because it did happen. And there's a clear shot from where I'm standing.
So that's how you feel about it, and I understand that. Okay. We can only use the information that we can see. So to give you an understanding of some of the things that we can and cannot see, we had a team member come in because he had left his charger on the countertop in the front lunchroom. We could not see, using the cameras, that charger. We could not see anybody taking that charger because of the coloring on the counter versus the charger, the people that were moving in the area. There was a number of things that impeded our ability to see that.
Okay.
So nobody's here to say that it didn't happen, just like we didn't tell that individual he didn't have his charger there.
Okay.
We are just telling you that when we review the footage, that it's not something that we can clearly identify, and that's That's all that we really can do.
Okay. I don't know. I think you guys could have done a more thorough look at the cameras, and I even insisted if I could like see it too, and I was denied
Yep.
because of the privacy. But the reason why I said that didn't make sense, but I understood, was because when the incident did take place last week, I was in there with Chris and Garrett, and we did go through the cameras.
So that you could identify the individual so they would know who you were talking about, because you did not indicate exactly who that individual was my understanding.
No, I did. I definitely identified them because
Yeah, and that's why they had you look at the cameras, because they weren't sure who the individual was, is
well,
what my
you guys had
understanding.
his first and last name and his phone number, so
I know,
don't-
but that doesn't mean that we know the faces. We have over 500
Okay.
employees here.
Okay, well, there's only one Jason Morgan who works at Rep 2.
So again, there's 500 employees here, so it's very challenging. Like prior to you having an issue,
Yeah.
if somebody had said, "Hey, can you go grab Trey off the line?" I would have been like,
Well,
I can try to figure out who he is.
Well, I gave you guys
So-
specific information on where he was, what job he does, his first and last name, his phone number, and what line he works at.
Again,
so I
We
understand that
don't
you
know
have.
what they look like on camera, so we might ask somebody to help identify the individual
Okay.
visually so that we can watch for that individual
Okay.
and understand. So for example, when you came in about the complaint for leering and glaring because Garrett and Chris
Yeah.
had worked with you previously, I brought them in because I was not involved in that investigation and said, "Hey, this is who I believe Jason is. Is this Jason?" And they had to come in and confirm, yes, this is the individual. So I got to watch about 45 minutes before I had to give it to Chris so that I could deal with some other issues that were going on and because I had to leave.
Okay. Okay. That's why I was just confused because I was just like, I've seen the cameras before. It wasn't really an issue then. And even then, we didn't identify who he was because you guys didn't have the camera in Tri-Light. And they were asking me like, what can they do? And I was just like, well, I don't know. So I probably would expect for you guys to probably be careful about that because it was very awkward.
Ask somebody what you want us to do.
About being careful when putting someone who has been harassed with their harasser at work. Because as a sealer, you have to work like hand in hand almost. There's like, you can't really do that job
Yeah.
without communicating with each other.
And if you go and you ask Cal what my reaction was, and Cal told me what his reaction was with his team leader,
Yeah.
You would know that we all take that very seriously, but we also respect confidentiality. And so the team leads in this water spiders were indicated, do not do this, but we don't dig into why not to do it because that's not their information, it's not their business.
Yeah, I understand that because it's like they know but they don't know. Like they know
Exactly.
that we can't work together, but they don't know the reason why we can't work together.
Correct, and they obviously did not understand. Cal and I absolutely understood.
Well, a team lead who was told this from, because they were told that not to do that. And I'm pretty sure that must have been serious coming from the supervisor or whoever told the team leaders that.
Mm-hmm.
And it still happened anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the change was made, and I'm not sure what team lead could have done that, but I do know that Jason works in Saul, and his team lead is Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another guy, Abdullah, who was working with me before they moved him for no reason.
Well, they probably had a reason for moving him.
Well, everyone was already in their set positions, and we were sealing, so I'm not sure why they moved him, and then they moved him back. So
I don't know, but that's a business need on why they would move somebody, and you're not always privy to know why they would move somebody. So please don't assume that we moved somebody just for no reason.
Oh no, I know. I just know that because Abdullah doesn't know how to do Saw, so it was confusing why they would train him in Saw and then put Jason where I am. That's why it was very awkward. So I'm saying that a team lead knows that they shouldn't have done that, and they still did it, and it was definitely on purpose.
So one thing that we're running into, Trey, is my understanding is that you do have a personal relationship with others on the line other than Claire. And Claire has a personal relationship with others in the building outside of yourself.
As in who?
As in her father and her mother?
Her stepfather and her mom?
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean...
And you guys have been talking openly amongst yourselves as, yep.
No.
Really? Because Brian stopped and talked to somebody about it, and it was very clear the information that was provided.
That's why I went to Chris and Garrett yesterday, because somebody knows something, and I definitely don't know what's going on. I know that there's a team lead that has did that on purpose, and something is, somebody said something, and the only person that I spoke to, and that I know that knows, is Cal, Danny, Garrett, Chris, and you. Mm-hmm. Anybody else in HR, I don't know, because I haven't spoken with them about this. Anyone outside of this, like team leads, I don't know.
So if you spoke with Claire, and Claire decided to disclose that
I would
information,
never tell Claire, because
she very clearly knows, and so does Lisa.
Well, something I don't know what that's about. I would never tell Claire, because based on the things that he said, would have made her extremely uncomfortable at work.
And
so,
she has made that very clear now.
Okay, and so that's I don't know what that's about, like I said. So if that is the case, then that seems like there's another problem with Jason that has nothing to do with me.
Jason's concerned because he's feeling harassed at this point.
Okay, that's very interesting. I don't have an opinion on that.
I do, because it stems from a complaint that you made, and we asked you to not talk about it.
And I understood that, because the consequences for that is immediate termination, because that's a thing of gossiping in a work environment that can make it uncomfortable for others. Mm-hmm. So I would never do that, especially on the track that I'm going in right now. I've been here for almost a year. I'm about to go to college, and I wouldn't say anything to jeopardize my own workplace, which is why I came to you guys and said that somebody knows something and something isn't right based on what yesterday's accident or whatever mix-up that they had. So I'm not pointing any fingers at a team lead, but I feel like that there is probably a team lead that knows something and did that on purpose. So I don't know what or how.
So Charlie, what is it that you want us to do? Because so far,
you and Chris keep asking me that, but I don't know. Do you have a sexual harassment policy
in the handbook that everybody has access to?
Okay,
yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, Tuesday you told me no.
No, I said Tuesday we don't have a policy regarding
sexual harassment.
No, seeing the cameras and stuff.
No, that was Wednesday. You told me that Wednesday. Tuesday I was here because I came to you after around like lunch or so. I asked, hey, do you guys have a sexual harassment policy? A documentation that I can have a copy of because of the incident.
Was when you were asking for the witness statement?
Yeah, when I got it.
So then I misunderstood what you were asking me.
I don't know how. I don't know how you misunderstood that, because it was clear. I was speaking
so
completely.
Trey, my perception of this is that you were not clear, because I would clearly let you know. Our UKG has the handbook in there, along with all of the harassment policies. Okay. All of those are listed in there.
I'm just telling you what you told me that day, because I clearly stated to you when I came there
everybody's not against you, Trey.
I didn't say anybody was against me.
Yes, you.
No, you guys are doing your best, and I told Chris and Garrett that I respect them taking their time to review that footage, and for them not to see anything has to be like pretty annoying, but I understand and I respected their time to do that, so I commend them for that. I've never said that you guys are targeting me or in any way something like that.
You've claimed that a team lead has targeted you.
I said a team lead may know something.
I know,
that,
and I'm letting you know this is what I'm hearing from you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have clearly indicated that you believe a team leader might know something and that they intentionally put you working with somebody. You
Correct.
have come in and claimed that there's retaliation, but you couldn't clarify if there was retaliation. When I directly asked you, you said no, he hasn't done anything yet, but you're worried about it.
I did tell you the truck incident that
was prior to the report, is what my understanding was.
Yeah, that's actually in the statement.
Correct.
So, and the staring is another form of harassment at work.
So only if it's something that's noticeable for an extended period of time. And again, we have reviewed this.
Okay, well, Chris said it was like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes? And I was like, okay, that sounds like a joke, because I can't, if someone's staring at me for 5 minutes straight, 15 minutes straight, 30 minutes straight, someone's going to come and check on that person, you know?
5 seconds when two team members are working in an area where they could potentially be moving around and looking at each other
No.
is not.
No, I
So-
think 5 seconds is a very long time.
Okay.
Because it's not like you're smiling at each other or waving or there's some form of communication while working.
Okay.
It's glaring. He's glaring at me.
So-
like that is a form of harassment. Whether it's 2 seconds to 5 seconds, it's not an acknowledgement of sight. So I don't want you to try and pass it off as if I didn't feel
I
like
didn't say
he
that
wasn't.
you didn't feel that.
Yeah, I'm saying that I don't want you to feel as if you're passing it off as me saying like, oh, I didn't feel uncomfortable because he was glaring at me.
I didn't say that you didn't feel
And
uncomfortable.
the second time I just said that you didn't say that. I was just saying I hope you didn't feel as if that was the case.
No, but what I'm saying is you have come in about potential retaliation. You came in to discuss something that had already been investigated and discussed. You've now come in about leering. We have employees out there talking. We have people that
Yes.
have personal relationships with you confronting him in an
Yes.
inappropriate manner.
I didn't know about that until you
And-
told me.
And that's what I'm telling you, though.
Okay.
As of right now, you are the common thread with that. And now I have another employee who feels like he's being harassed.
I don't know who that employee is. You're telling me information that I'm
I'm
just
saying,
now
no,
learning today.
I'm saying Jason feels like he's being harassed.
Okay. I mean, I've been extremely uncomfortable ever since the incident. So I always
I know
never.
you have, and I think that's making you ultra aware of what's happening around you. I think it's making you more so aware than what you typically would be, because you are sensitized to what's going on and the situation that you feel like you've been put in. I would agree with that. And I'm not saying that you're incorrect in feeling that way, but I'm also asking you for you to have an awareness of sometimes when we feel that these things could be ongoing, that there can be a feeling that, like, for example, you feel like you're being watched. There are 72 people on the Rev 2 line. 72.
I know. I work with them every day since I started in January,
Mm-hmm.
and he was watching me, and I work with people who do stare sometimes, but they weren't doing what Jason was doing that day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said anything about it. I don't want this to be taken lightly.
So if you don't want it taken lightly, why aren't you letting a team lead know? Why aren't you letting a supervisor know?
Emil
You
was the
wait
only one at
until-
that time.
And you wait until the end of the day to come in here and ask us to backtrack.
Absolutely not.
You did wait until the end of the
No,
day.
I came in at 2:30 because you needed time to check the cameras, and I didn't want
At
to.
4:30, Chris was on the floor at 4:30 and Garrett was gone.
4:30.
It was in the afternoon, it was at the end of the shift. Garrett had left for the day.
You're talking about yesterday?
No, I'm talking about when you asked me to go back and review the cameras.
Wednesday.
Yeah, you waited. When you said that happened between 12 and 2:30,
Okay.
you waited until the end of the day at 4:30 to come in instead of talking to your team leader or your supervisor. And you didn't come and try to get it addressed immediately. You waited until the end of the day to have the discussion.
No, I came at the end of break.
At
The
the end
last
of the day.
the last end of the break.
No, Chris was out on the floor, and he didn't go out on the floor until after 4 o'clock.
The moment where he was glaring at me at Rev 2, and I asked if you could see that footage.
That was at the end of the day. That was because Garrett was gone. He left that day early
Well-
because he had to pick up his wife, and Chris was out on the floor
If
after the
I-
managers had come up here.
If I told you if it was okay, yeah, you're right. If I told you that
I know I
it was
am.
at 12 to 2:30, then that was the incident that took place. So 2:30 after that is obviously near the end of the day.
So
And
what?
if
But again,
even if I did come at the end of the day, that shouldn't be an issue
it
because
absolutely is.
the person that I told who was there was Emil.
But
I told him
Emil
that
is
I
a
felt
water spider. He is not a leader within this building. You have 16 leaders back there and a supervisor.
they were not present at the time of the glaring.
But so you're saying they weren't present from 12:30 to 4:30?
I don't have any recollection of that, but I'm pretty sure that they were walking around.
So again, here's what I'm trying to say to you, Trey. If I feel like Caleb is staring at me, and I look around to find
Is he
somebody
staring
to
or
report,
is he glaring at you?
if I feel like he's glaring at me,
Okay.
and I look around and I don't find a resource to help me, I'm either going to go find that resource, or as soon as I see a resource, I'm going to grab them and let them know what's going on.
Okay. Thank you for that advice. I'll definitely do that. And I've learned that. But even so, just because just trying to focus and ignore it, that doesn't mean that I still feel okay.
But you feel uncomfortable enough that you want us to go back and hold him accountable for something that we can't address because we don't see it on the video.
Well, just because I didn't like stop right there and immediately went to go report it doesn't necessarily mean that I was okay with what was going on. That just means that I was just still working, and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna get this day over with. I'll talk to HR after this.
But why?
There's no reason why. It was just that's just how that I felt to do the thing.
But if
That's
you
how
feel
it was.
this passionately about something making you uncomfortable, Trey, you should want to get it addressed immediately.
That's why I
It's
went to
the
HR.
quickest-
If I didn't want it to get addressed, I would not have gone to human resources.
So again, immediately. And you should take advantage of the individuals that are within the area that can immediately help you instead of waiting until the end of the day to come in when we can't talk to the individual that you're accusing. We can't review the cameras at that moment in time because it's the end of the day. Nobody can have the conversations to understand exactly what had happened. Like, it's difficult to address things after the fact when you're in the moment.
You said that about the cameras, but you can still review the cameras at the end of the
And
day.
we did, and you still don't like what we found.
Well, that's because it feels like you guys are like saying like, oh, he's not staring at you long enough. That's what exactly it feels
No,
like.
we can't see him glaring at you, is what Chris said.
Yeah, I
Chris
even-
said, like,
I
how
even
long are
noted-
you talking about? So then that way, you know.
Chris joked about it being like 5 to 15 to 20 minutes to 30 minutes, whatever. That is. I don't
5
even know what to say
seconds
about
to
that.
most individuals is not an extensive amount of time.
You glare at someone for 5 seconds across the room that you've had sexual harassment encounter with or whatever type of incident, and you tell me if that makes them uncomfortable or not, because it most certainly does. 5 seconds is an extremely long time to stare at
But
someone.
it's also very difficult to see with all of the things that are going on in the area on a camera that's overhead in pipes and everything else and trying to see if we can see 5 seconds of glaring. That is
Okay.
exceedingly difficult to narrow
Yeah, and I
down.
told Chris I understand, I commend him for doing that because it probably isn't easy, but it definitely did happen. And then you guys questioned my visibility from me through the supervisor's desk, which is definitely a clear shot. If you guys would actually stand there or at the sealer position and someone at packing on Rev 1, there was definitely a clear shot. So I don't want you guys to try and like make it seem like he can't see me or something like that, because that's exactly what it feels like.
Nobody said that.
Okay, well, based on what you guys said on my visibility, like, I know what my eyes saw, you know. I don't know how else I can elaborate on that. That's just it. It was definitely glaring. But, I mean, the team lead thing from, like, yesterday, the incident, I told Chris and Garrett, I just came here just to tell them that it would be best if they would try not to let that happen again, and I appreciated that, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is it that you want us to do again, Trey? Because I'm asking you, because obviously everything that we have done thus
I just
far-
came here to tell you about what yesterday, if Garrett and Chris had acknowledged you on that, and that somebody knows something, and team lead, water spider, supervisor, whatever, because they did that transition on purpose.
So again,
and it
here you
made
go
me-
saying that a team lead did something on purpose.
Well, if you
So
guys
if-
if
so-
you guys notified the team leads that we are not supposed to work together under these circumstances, and it is an absolute must, then that means that they knowingly moved him on purpose,
So
and I was
they couldn't have-
uncomfortable.
So you want me to believe that we have somebody out there who is that intentionally said, hey, I know if I put Jason with Trey, it's going to make him uncomfortable.
100%.
So
100%, no doubt in my mind.
So then is it fair to say that since you have a personal relationship with 3 individuals that have directly talked to a leader
I
about
don't.
the information and shared a lot of information that you only shared with leaders within this organization, that you have shared that information with those individuals because they are now harassing another team member about something that was closed by our office and everybody was told to not discuss, and our understanding so far is that Jason has not discussed anything with you.
Okay.
And outside of this glaring incident,
Okay. I
then-
haven't spoken this about anyone except for the people that I've already listed to you earlier in this conversation. So I would never tell Claire. I don't speak to her mom. I don't have a close relationship with her mom. I don't even talk to her father. So I don't know why would you even insist that I'm speaking to
because there's a personal
him or her.
relationship to the between
Okay,
those
so
individuals.
well, you said I had a personal relationship with those 3 individuals.
Yes, because you're
I
dating
only
your
have,
daughter.
I'm, just because I'm dating Claire does
That
not mean.
absolutely has an implication that there is a personal relationship that
Okay,
would allow
well,
for
yeah,
sharing.
yeah, I have a personal relationship with Claire, but that does not mean I have a personal relationship with her mom
There's indication
or her
that-
father.
There's absolutely indication.
And even so, I still didn't say anything to her because of the things that was said about her. I would never tell her because I know that would make her uncomfortable at
So
work.
if I have it in writing that Lisa very clearly states that she knows those things, I should assume that she got them from where?
That's why I'm here today to tell you that somebody knows something and
I
that
believe
this
it's
information.
Claire, and I believe it's you that's talking about it after you were asked not to talk about it, because I think you were uncomfortable about the situation.
Okay.
You talked to some individuals about it, you talked to them about it.
No.
You even said in your statement that you had talked to, I believe it was your parents?
My mother and my stepfather, they do
Okay.
not work here.
Absolutely.
So I even.
And I don't know what kind of relationship they have with Claire or Claire's parents, if they would share that information. I don't know.
That's really baffling to me because
It's not.
you're making it seem like just because we're dating, I would run and tell her everything that's happened.
That would be
she-
not an uncommon practice.
She
Trent.
to this day does not know why me and Jason are not supposed to work together. She does ask me. I told her I cannot tell her because I will not tell her. So she's actually been really upset with me